Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Group 5. We are going to tell about Eastern psychology, the personality of Eastern psychology. Jadi nanti kemungkinan akan ada isinya terkait beberapa teori-teori psikologi yang berasal dari Timur dan juga sedikit perbedaan. What's the difference between Eastern psychology and Western psychology? Next. Still with us, there is Wilda Valerina, Rizkita Jeriardila, Amalia Wadasabila, and then Fani Aisyah Putri. This is our team. So we are going to discuss about the topic. There is Abhidhamma, the development of Eastern psychology, transpersonal psychology, Islamic psychology, and figures of Eastern psychology. And the last is the differences between Eastern psychology and Western psychology. Yang akan membahas juga tentang teori kepribadian bagaimana. Di chapter 1, silakan yang membahas chapter 1.
Okay, chapter 1, there's the development of Eastern psychology. Next. Okay, first, Eastern psychology's approach is based on introspection and self-examination, which requires a lot of energy. This is in contrast to Western psychology, which relies more on behavioral observation. Jadi, Eastern psychology ini dia berdasarkan pada introspeksi dan kayak pemeriksaan diri sendiri gitu dari orang tersebut yang kegiatan itu memakan banyak energi. Nah, ini tuh kontras banget sama Western psychology atau psikologi barat yang lebih menekankan pada observasi perilaku. And then common ways of coping with suffering advocated are discipline and self-control. Jadi cara umum untuk mengatasi suffering-nya atau penderitaan yang dirasakan oleh orang itu tuh berdasarkan sama kedisiplinan diri sendiri sama self-control atau kontrol diri dari orang tersebut. Western and Eastern psychology have similarities. One of the similarities is in their use of phenomenological methods. They all seek to describe the nature of direct personal experience. Jadi meskipun mereka kayak kontras, tapi mereka juga punya kesamaan. Nah, salah satu kesamaannya ini tentang metode phenomenologicalnya. Nah, jadi mereka sama-sama melihat deskripsi dari pengalaman yang terjadi di masyarakat kayak gitu. Terus Eastern psychology recognize that the main path towards this self-transformation is meditation. Meditation is the recommended strategy for achieving a state of wellness. Jadi Eastern psychology ini mereka menekankan ke meditasi sebagai sebuah bentuk self-transformation-nya. Meditasi ini sebuah strategi yang sangat Eastern psychology rekomendasikan untuk mencapai state of wellness, kesejahteraan diri seperti itu. Next. Okay, next kita ada Abhidhamma. And what is Abhidhamma? Next. Abhidhamma teaches an ideal type of perfect personality upon which its analysis of the mind is based. Jadi Abhidhamma ini sebuah teori yang mengajari tentang menekankan kepada kesempurnaan dari kepribadian orang tersebut. Seperti itu. Nah, the basic assumption of Abhidhamma, there is no truly eternal self. Only a set of impersonal processes that arise and disappear. Jadi Abhidhamma ini basic asumsinya nggak ada diri yang sempurna gitu loh. Jadi hanya sepasang proses yang muncul dan menghilang seperti itu. What appears as the self is nothing but the sum total of the parts of the body, namely the mind, senses, passions, memories, and so on. Jadi menurut Abhidhamma, gambaran dari diri itu adalah uh, sesuatu yang terlihat dari tubuh dari diri orang tersebut. Jadi yaitu adalah pikiran, kayak indera, passions, memories atau kenangan dan seterusnya. According to Abhidharma, human personality is like a river that has a fixed form, as if one identity, even if not a drop of water, doesn't change as in a previous moment. Jadi Abhidharma ini memandang kepribadian manusia itu kayak sungai, yang dia punya fixed form as if one identity, even if that drop of water doesn't change as in previous moment. Jadi nggak bakal berubah dari momen sebelumnya seperti itu. The basic method used by Abhidhamma to scrutinize the many changes in the psyche is in introspection, which is a systematic careful observation that one makes of one's own experience. Jadi basic method yang Abhidhamma gunakan itu observasi ke diri sendiri. Jadi kayak lebih ke introspeksi diri sendiri gitu loh, kayak kalau misalnya kita punya penderitaan atau kayak hal yang tidak disukai ya jadi lebih ke introspeksi diri sendiri kayak, kita memandang diri sendiri kayak gimana, kayak gitu.
Okay, now now transpersonal psychology. Next. So transpersonal psychology in many literatures means passing or going through the mass in the other words by passing the personal level. Transpersonal psychology is not a set of belief, dogma, or religion, but is an attempt to bring the full level of human experience into discourse in psychology. Jadi psikologi transpersonal itu bukanlah suatu seperangkat kepercayaan, dogma, ataupun agama, namun merupakan suatu upaya untuk membawa tingkat pengalaman manusia sepenuhnya menuju wacana dalam psikologi. Jadi dalam psikologi transpersonal, sebagaimana pendekatan psikologis lainnya, pemisahan terhadap self dipandang sebagai suatu hasil dari sejarah pribadi dan dicirikan oleh suatu kemandirian dan pemisahan dari hal-hal yang mengelilinginya. Next. Oke, sekarang masuk ke Islamic Psychology. Next. So, what is Islamic psychology? Islamic psychology is a science about humans and patterns interaction in the world where all the rules and interaction come from Al-Quran. Next. Understanding and design relating to human behavior in Islamic psychological theory. There are opinions or understandings as well as the design of human behavior that An-Nabhani explained. He divided this section into 4 parts. There are, at first, physical needs. Jadi, physical needs itu seperti kebutuhan jasmani yang paling mendasar untuk manusia, seperti kebutuhan untuk istirahat, untuk makan, serta kebutuhan bernafas. Lalu ada insting, yaitu naluri. Jadi naluri adalah cara manusia mempertahankan dirinya. Lalu ada intelek. Intelek itu juga disebut sebagai akal. Ialah sebuah proses pemindahan dari penginderaan terhadap fakta melalui panca indera menuju otak. Lalu yang terakhir ada kolbu. Kolbu itu dalam Islam, dalam psikologi Islam menganggap apabila kolbu berjalan dengan baik, maka akan melangsungkan proses perilaku yang baik juga. Next. Okay. And now human personality in Islamic psychology. Yang pertama ada structure. atau struktur ialah sebuah unsur pembentuk kepribadian manusia. Yaitu manusia diciptakan dan tumbuh secara berbeda-beda karena manusia itu memiliki kualitas psikologis yang bertahan dalam manusia itu sendiri selama bertahun-tahun. Lalu yang kedua ada proses. Proses atau dinamika kepribadian didefinisikan sebagai segala sesuatu yang berkaitan dengan motif manusia dalam sistem psikologi. Lalu yang terakhir ada personality growth and development. Jadi pertumbuhan ialah pertambahan yang terjadi di diri manusia secara terus-menerus, sedangkan perkembangan ya itu didefinisikan sebagai pertumbuhan secara progresif yang dialami oleh manusia. Next. And now is psychopathology in Islamic psychology. Psychopathology in Islam is divided into two categories, namely nature worldly in the form of mental symptoms or illnesses that have been formulated in the contemporary psychological discourse. Secondly is human in the form of disease as a result of deviation from spiritual morals, norm, or values and religion. In Islam, according to the Quran and As-Sunnah, there are types many of psychopathologies. Jadi, psikopatologi di Islam itu ada banyak, beberapa contohnya ialah syirik, kufur, nifak, riya, godok, ghaflah, was-was, putus asa, rakus, tertipu, dengki, gibah, hub dunia atau cinta dunia, lalu ada juga atamani yaitu keinginan yang tidak mungkin terjadi. Next.
Okay. Chapter 5, Figures of Eastern Psychology. So who is figures of Eastern Psychology? There are three figures that relate to Eastern Psychology. The first one is Carl Gustav Jung, or we already know Jung. Jung is the one of the most knowledgeable people about Eastern psychology. In addition to Jung, Eastern psychologists have invaded the Western world through their influence on theories such as the holistic-minded Angel and Maslow, humanist Buber and Fromm, existentialist Bass, and the new wave of transpersonal psychologists. And the second one is Alan Watts. Alan Watts in Psychotherapy East and West, 1961, recognized that what he calls Eastern ways of liberation are similar to Western psychotherapy, in that both aim to change people's feelings about themselves and their relationship with other people and the natural world. And the last one is Robert Ornstein. Robert Ornstein's interest in Eastern psychology grew out of his research into the different function of each hemisphere of the brain. He also noted that Western culture and science preferred the left hemisphere way of knowing to the detriment of the development of the right hemisphere. Chapter 6, the difference between Eastern psychology and Western psychology. Okay, so as you can see, this is the table that show the difference about Eastern and Western. The difference attitude to nature. Eastern love nature very much. This feeling grew because of their strong religious and philosophical beliefs. Unity with nature, harmony with nature. And Western psychology, mastery of nature, which means blindly draining nature. The difference number 2 is ideal of life. Eastern psychology, a life whose highest value comes from within means willing to accept the person's situation, accumulate experience, integrate oneself, become something of value, a human being who needs calm and time for perfection. and Western psychology. Humans are active actors shaping history, so they continue to adventure. Number 3, charm status. Eastern psychology. Using human dignity, Western psychology, it helps and societies respect individual rights, guarantee an atmosphere of freedom so that people can enjoy their rights. Number 4, science. Western psychology, bringing science to wisdom. Western psychology, bringing wisdom to science. Number 5, value streams. Western psychology, benevolence, disapproval, forgetfulness, also feeling, withdrawing, moderate, passion, passing, inner peace. Western psychology, human dignity, reason, freedom, action, organization, science, engineering, wealth, and well-being. Number 6, knowledge. Western psychology, prioritizing the heart as a unifier of reason, intelligence, and feelings with the aim of being wise to face life. Western psychology, prioritizing reason to seek knowledge with the aim of world domination.
Okay, the conclusion is Eastern psychology pay much attention to the realm of consciousness and the laws of govern its changes. This psychology also contains quite clear personality theories. The goal of Eastern psychology is to change a person's consciousness to be able to transcend the limits created by the habits that shape that personality. In this case, every type of the personality needs to overcome different obstacles to free itself from these boundaries. Jadi bisa membebaskan dirinya dari batasan-batasan. In addition, the Asia psychology approach is based on introspection and self-examination, require a lot of energy, in contrast to Western psychology, which relies more on behavior observation. Psychology in general has several functions and goals, including being able to analyze, provide possibilities, prediction, and improve behavior or control human behavior. In Islamic psychology, there are two main tasks that are again, namely the development of psychology itself and making the religion Islamic as the main guide of science. If Western or modern psychology limits its scope to three things, namely physical dimension, the psychological dimension, and the social dimension cultural, then in Islamic psychology there are addition, ada tambahan, yaitu adalah comes from the spiritual dimension and the spiritual dimension. Jadi ada faktor-faktor spiritual dan juga religion dimension. Gitu. Islamic psychology is considered to be an answer the psycho-spiritual problems and has its own role in perfecting science in human civilization. Jadi secara garis besar bahwa psikologi timur ini tetap berfokus pada jiwa manusia itu dan juga menambahkan unsur kerohanian seperti itu. Sebagaimana tadi Abhidhamma tentang yang ada sangkut pautnya dengan teori Buddhisme, lalu di psikologi Islam ada sangkut pautnya dengan Islam gitu kan. Dan juga ternyata dari psikologi timur ini bukan pure dari timur akan tapi dari orang barat pun juga ternyata ada tokoh-tokoh yang sudah mengerti ataupun concern tentang psikologi timur ini. Seperti itu. Jadi that's all from group 5. This is the references, the history itself by Harper Rousseau and the past and the present by Aaron Rowe. Thank you everyone for listening our discussion. So if you have any question, you can ask me ask us when kami melakukan presentasi nanti di kelas. Terima kasih semuanya. Selamat malam dan juga selamat beristirahat. Yeay.